Over the past few weeks, a lot of new people have discovered What's It Like, especially thanks to the Switch 2 backwards compatibility series. And hey, I just want to say, welcome aboard. The response has blown me away, and I've been doing my best to keep that momentum going with more performance breakdowns, wishlist videos, and the occasional deep dive. I actually held off on making this particular video and post because I didn't really want to disrupt that flow. But this month also marks What's It Like's second birthday, and I wanted to take a moment to share something that's a little bit more personal. It's about a game that helped me get my foot in the door in the gaming industry, Railway Empire 2. When the Switch version launched, I wasn't really in a position to cover it the way I wanted to, but what happened instead changed everything. Now, this isn't a performance analysis or a review on the game, it's simply a story of how one small opportunity turned into something much bigger, and how a game about trains helped me get this outlet on the right track. Now, full disclosure, the footage here is from Railway Empire 2 on the Switch 2. It does still look a little bit rough around the edges, but for me, it's a game that I can sink endless hours into. I absolutely love it, just like I loved the one before it. 2 years ago, What's It Like was just getting off the ground. I was travelling around Australia in my caravan, and I had spent nearly 2 months reaching out to developers and publishers, hoping that someone would take a chance on a new voice. I was sending about 20 emails a day, seeing if I could get an interview with someone, or maybe even some insights into the games that were under development, and they were all left unanswered. I was just about to give up, until I heard back from Calypso Media. Railway Empire 2 had just launched on Switch, and I was eager to cover it. I played the original a lot, and would have loved to review the sequel. Unfortunately, my digital marketing business was starting to feel the knock-on effects of COVID, and I couldn't really afford the costs of picking up the sequel. When the social media team responded, I didn't ask for a review key despite desperately wanting one, because I didn't want to start that relationship that way. And instead, I decided to use my one shot to ask a bit more about the gaming industry and how it all works. Calypso Media went above and beyond. They put me in contact with one of their PR and communications managers, and we had a lot of back and forth about things that I could do to help make contact with other developers and publishers. That advice would lead to a lot of future opportunities. They did offer me keys for a giveaway and helped set up an interview with the creative director Daniel Dumont, and gave me advice on how to approach future outreach. I didn't get to play Railway Empire 2 until about a year or so later after this interview, but that early support gave me the momentum that I needed to keep going. Reflecting on that moment now, I actually decided to reread the interview, and it's striking about how many things we talked about, like Daniel's ideas and his ambitions and improvements, have since come into fruition in the game. It reminded me of how much passion goes into making these games, and how meaningful it can be to see those dreams come to life. Reflecting on my first interview with Daniel Dumont at the time, I didn't really know how to do interviews, so to speak. I drafted and redrafted questions, and I was terrified of sounding unprofessional. Daniel made the whole thing really easy for me, and he was patient, and he was passionate about his projects, and he was open about it all. That conversation helped shape the tone for every interview I've done since. I had sunk so many hours into the first game, but I did find the learning curve to be very steep, especially when it came to building tracks and signals. And I recall his emphasis on refining the track laying system to make it more intuitive for players. He had acknowledged that in the original game it was a bit complicated for new players, and the goal for Railway Empire 2 was to simplify that experience. When I finally got to play Railway Empire 2, it was really evident that that vision had been realised, and it had featured a whole bunch of new quality of life improvements like manual signal mode, which allowed players to place stop and directional signals with precision, and the addition not only enhanced the gameplay but just mirrored the depth of what Daniel envisioned. Beyond the signals, the game's track construction did seem significantly improved over the first one, with the introduction of colour-coded overlays for gridirons, tunnels and bridges, and aided in better planning and execution, reflecting on his commitment into evolving the game's mechanics, but staying true to the developer's original aspirations. Since Railway Empire 2 launched, the team at Calypso and Gaming Minds have kept the game rolling with major updates and 4 DLC expansions now available on the Nintendo Switch, and since originally writing this article, they've now announced a 5th one. These additions not only expand on the world, but also bring fresh challenges and opportunities for railway tycoons. In my interview with Daniel, he shared how fans were asking for electric locomotives to be added, but stressed that it had to be a careful, considered choice. The team wanted to be careful about introducing the new technology because they didn't want the game to lose the romance and character of the steam engine era that so many fans of the series cherished. This thoughtful balance is clear in the High Voltage DLC, which was the first DLC pack of the game and puts tycoons in the Swiss countryside with powerful and historically accurate electric trains, but they managed to preserve that nostalgic feel. One part of our conversation about it that struck me was how he described the challenge of balancing that historical authenticity with the fun, accessible gameplay. He said, "We try to stay close to history, but it's still a game. We always need to make sure it's enjoyable to play, even if it means making small compromises. The key is to stay grounded in the spirit of the era." That philosophy is something that I've seen come to life across the new DLCs and the core campaign. Whether you're building luxury lines to the Balkans or powering through the Swiss countryside in your new electric engines, it's clear that the team didn't let historical accuracy become a burden. Instead, they used that for a foundation of storytelling and strategy. While many people thought the Switch version of Railway Empire 2 was abandoned, a recent update included a freight carriage full of bug fixes, including DLC support. So many that talking about what they've changed would be overwhelming in this video. It does go to show the team's commitment to keeping the original vision alive on a handheld platform. As Daniel said during our interview, they want players to feel the history and emotion behind the trains and not just manage rails and schedules, and it's a clear philosophy that guided the game's evolution, and it made Railway Empire 2 not just a simulation, but a tribute to the golden age of railroads. 2 years on, What's It Like has grown in ways I've never expected, and roughly 30,000 people watch or read my content daily. There's been new games, new interviews, and so many stories shared, and even more ahead. But I always remember where it started, and revisiting Railway Empire 2 with fresh eyes and fresh content felt like coming full circle. Seeing the ideas that Daniel spoke about in our interview come to life, like the electric engines, his regional expansions, and the smoother experience for Switch players, it just reminds me about how much care and effort go into making video games. To these developers, it's more than just codes and systems. It's people and passion and that long-term commitment. Now, the only thing that Daniel mentioned in my interview that hasn't come to life yet is his desire to put some dinosaur-themed flora and fauna in as an Easter egg. Maybe for the Switch 2 version or Railway Empire 3 perhaps. Thanks for watching this video and listening to me reflect on What's It Like. Thanks again to Calypso Media for taking a chance on a small outlet 2 years ago. And thanks to all of you for coming along for the ride. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it, the best way you can support What's It Like is by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. For more reviews, click on the thumbnails to the right, and for everything Nintendo, check out what'sitlike.com.au.